Namaste children. How are you all? I hope you are all fine and you are attending virtual classes also as well. Okay, now come back. Today the topic is reproduction. This is how do organisms reproduce is 10th class and the process of reproduction in 8th class. So I want to take a small common topic for both the classes. That is what? Reproduction. Again production. So again producing the same organism. It means that the ability of living organisms to produce young ones similar to themselves. Here what is the point? Similar. What is similar? So their own kind. So here we have to talk about species. What is species? Species are a group of organisms which are able to breed and perpetuate their race. Perpetuate their race means the organisms who are having ability to reproduce among themselves comes under one species. Now for example dogs, cats. So all the dogs comes under one species and cats come under one species. Right children? Okay, now 8th class what we will learn? Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Okay, so 10th class we will learn still more detail. Okay, right, thank you. Why do organisms reproduce? Why? You see that one plant or animal which is not having the ability to reproduce, after some time what happens? Our plant or animal will extinct. Means if it is producing more of its own kind, then it will be visible or it will be seen by everyone. Otherwise, if the organisms or the plants unable to reproduce, then slowly what happens? The parent plants, due to calamities, they may die and they no more surviving. So, to prevent from extinction, why generally organisms will reproduce? To prevent from extinction. Extinction. What do you mean by extinction? Completely disappearing from the earth. Now, to prevent from extinction, or you can say that stop from dying out. Next, second one, to continue their race. To continue their race. And you see that every organism other than human beings and other than higher animals, vertebrates, remaining animals will produce more of its own kind. So many eggs they will lay. Why do they lay so many eggs? Because they will have lot of calamities they have to face. So to face the calamities, they produce more of its own kind. So few of them will die and few of them will survive. So that's why they will have a tendency, inbuilt tendency to maintain their race for so many years. That's why every living organism will produce more and more of its own kind. Okay? Clear children? Right. Here, similar. So reproduction is similar of their own kind we discussed. Now what do you mean by similar? Now we look like our parents, right? But are we identical copies of our parents? No, not at all. So but we are similar means two eyes, one nose. So what the basic design is same. What do you mean by basic design? You understood now? Two hands, two legs, nose, mouth, all parts will be there. So the design is similar. But is it identical? No, not identical. You should have a clarity between the design is similar but not identical. You remember. So similar. We are similar to our parents because our design is similar. Why design is similar? Why our body design is similar? Because blueprint is similar. What do you mean by blueprint? That we are going to discuss in this topic. Today's topic is what is this blueprint actually? Now blueprint. What do you mean by blueprint? This blueprint is present in each and every cell of our body. Why I am talking about now cell? 8th class you learned that cell is the basic unit you learned. Basic unit. Basic unit, or also we learned that it is a fundamental unit, like it is the structural and functional unit we learned. So what do you mean by structural and functional unit? Whatever action, whatever life process we are performing, that will be done by each and every cell of our body, right? Even reproduction we are doing, reproduction when we are performing, then it should happen within the cell itself. Otherwise, reproduction will not take place. So, first, a living organism, for example, amoeba is dividing its body and producing 2 amoebae. When it is producing, it is taking place in the cell itself because it is unicellular organism. It's very clear. But in our body, when the reproduction is going on, it should occur in the cell itself. If the cell is not taking part in the reproduction, the cell or the living organism cannot reproduce, right? So, the reproduction here in this amoeba also, when we are talking about binary fission, what do you mean by this method? Binary fission, okay, you can recollect that point. So, when binary fission, when it is undergoing, first which division takes place? Nucleus division takes place. That also we mentioned in 8th class. Once you recollect, nucleus, first which division takes place? Nucleus division takes place. So, what actually there in the nucleus and how it will reproduce, what happens, everything I will share a small video, you can understand well, okay. Thank you.
We are asked to fit a thread of 1 meter in this small box. It will be easy if we simply coil the thread and place it inside. Did you know that a similar approach is taken by our cells? Let's see how. We know that the long stretch of DNA is coiled to a great extent to fit inside the tiny nucleus. This process of coiling gives rise to the chromatid structure. It's a thread-like mesh that we find in the nucleus of a metabolically active cell. The chromatids gain a typical classical structure which looks somewhat like this. It's seen during cell division. And these are nothing but the chromosomes.